Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another amazing episode of the XR Update podcast, where I am on the left and Katya is
On
on
the
the
front.
right. That's right. Hello, everyone. I'm Alex. I am the host of this amazing insider's perspective on the VR industry here at XR Update. And joining me for yet another episode is the amazing Katya in VR. Hello, Katya.
Hi, thank you for having me again. I'm so excited.
We always have a good time with Katya on the show.
Yeah, and with Alex, we always have a great time with Alex on the show.
I appreciate that. It's we're it's Monday. Wait, is it Monday? What day is it?
Yeah, is it Monday? Oh my God, are we supposed to go live on this?
It's like the days ever since I've been working with Impact Reality, my days just blend and melt, and
Same.
I don't even know if it's a weekend anymore sometimes.
Mhm.
But we usually do the shows on Tuesdays. We are live on a Monday today because I am flying to the Netherlands tomorrow to host the AI XR Awards, which is a really awesome and prestigious VR awards show that happens every year, that I have managed to get involved in, and it's a lot of fun. So thanks everybody for going live with us on a Monday. It is the preferred time this week, but we'll be back to Tuesdays moving forward in the future.
All right.
How's your weekend, or how was your weekend, Katya? Was it
Oh,
okay?
I was so good. I've been playing so many VR games, and I would love to talk about it, but I cannot because you know why. And so, but you guys, there are so many cool games coming in, and I'm excited for you all to try them. The weekend was absolutely amazing, and the weather is okay. How was yours?
Really good. Yeah, I got a little bit of work done over the weekend, and yesterday I spent most of the day just sitting around playing some good old video games, and it was a lot of fun. But it was very lazy and unproductive, and I'm ready for Monday to get back into everything. So for today, we're going to be talking to the Squingle team. If you've never heard of Squingle, I'd be surprised. It's been kind of a player in the VR space for a minute. But before we get into that discussion, Katya, did you know that XR Update is a news website?
Yes, I've heard about it. Uh-huh. Can you tell us more though?
Yeah, I can. It's a pretty awesome news website, and it is owned and operated by Impact Reality. And if you follow XR Update on Twitter, we actually take some of our little news blurbs and news stories and post them as tweets there, which makes it, or I guess it's called X, and now they're called
Mm-hmm.
posts. But anyway, it's like a bunch of little bite-sized nuggets about what's happening in the VR industry. And I was thinking before we dive into the interview, maybe we can touch on a couple of those. What do you think?
Yeah, we should. We should because I've been reading about some very nice news recently, and I would love to discuss a couple of them.
Let's do that. So the first thing, this is a shout out to the Flat to VR community, and shout out to just the gamers in general. A new VR mod by Living Fray, and Living Fray is known for their work on the mod of Metal Hellsinger VR before it got an official port. Who, by the way, we had the official porting team on XR Update earlier in the season. I guess we don't really do seasons, but earlier in the show's tenure. So go check that one out. But anyway, Living Fray made a Halo Combat Evolved VR mod. Halo Combat Evolved being OG Halo, the one that came out on Xbox. And you can experience the full campaign of the 2003 PC version with motion controls, enhanced aiming, and immersive features. And you do have to own a copy of it on PC to like play it in VR. It's not a standalone version or anything like that. But there you go, people. Like, I feel like this is evidence that we're living in the future. The fact that you can put on a headset and go play the entirety of Halo.
I'm so excited to try it out. I wonder how the mapping of the controls is done and how it feels in the VR. I hope it feels really good, but I'm not surprised if it is. Do you know how easy it is to install the VR mode?
I do not know.
Yeah.
There is a link to the mod in our post on Twitter. So if you go to XR Update on Twitter, there is this post that we just showed, and there's a link to where you can get the mod. I have to imagine it's relatively easy. The guys that have been doing this have like really streamlined a lot of these processes, and I personally haven't ever modded anything to like using the Unreal or any of the flat to VR stuff that like really was super difficult. So I imagine this is pretty straightforward.
Hmm. Yeah.
The video on screen right now that we're showing is Gamertag VR's video of him playing this mod. He just posted this on YouTube a few days ago, and it looks pretty amazing. Were you a Halo player, Katya?
I played a little bit, not too much, but yeah, for what I remember, it was amazing. I love shooters. It's like one of my favorite types of the games.
Yeah, they're fun. I mean, for me, to be honest, Halo was always about the multiplayer for me. Like, I like playing the Halo campaign in VR is not like a dream of mine that I have. You know what I mean? Like, I would play Halo in VR, like Blood Gulch, like multiplayer style, kind of like the contractors mods, I guess. But I've always just played Halo multiplayer, all of them. Halo 1, Halo 2, Halo 3. Halo 3 is the last one, but I never played a campaign. Always went straight into the multiplayer lobbies with my friends.
Hmm. Yeah.
But if you're out there and you did play that campaign and you're ready to be living in the future and doing this thing in VR, it's out there, baby. Go find it.
Yep. And let us know what you think about it and how it felt.
Yeah, I mean, this video that GT made looks really, really nice. So,
Hmm.
yeah, shout out Gamertag VR and shout out to Living Frey for making this amazing mod. All right, second news bit of the day is this one I'm actually pretty excited to touch on. There have been some recent leaks that have unveiled 3D models of Valve's upcoming VR motion controller, which is codenamed Roy. And these models were discovered within the Steam VR drivers. So this is like pretty legit. The Roy controller features a traditional gamepad layout, aka a D-pad on the left controller. Oh no, the traditional gamepad layout like we see on the Quest controllers, including a directional pad on the left controller, 4 action buttons, start and select, bumpers and triggers. Bumpers and triggers. Okay, I guess those would be the grip buttons, like the middle fingers. The design suggests enhanced compatibility with both VR and standard gaming experiences, which is kind of an interesting approach. And these findings reignite speculation about Valve's anticipated standalone VR headset, which we have all come to know as Deckard. Here on the screen is an image of these renders, which were made. Well, I shouldn't say they were made. They were posted by Down 90 on X. I think that they did make these renders as well from the files that they found. But this is a really good look at what I think we can expect these controllers to look like. And I have to say, at first glance, for me, I think it's kind of sick.
Oh my god, I love the look of them. And yeah, the previous control is just so big and so messy and weird. But look at that. Such a great, sleek design. Just amazing. And I think they're quite light as well.
I mean, hopefully, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, they don't look heavy. I mean,
Hmm.
I don't know if any. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of people out there listening who have used and maybe even still use the Index Knuckles controllers, which when they came out at the time was like the only thumbstick like controller for VR. Like it was all HTC Vive wands before that controller came out. And I guess maybe the Rift also eventually had the thumbsticks. But the point I want to make is that we've been using the Knuckles for quite a while.
Hmm.
And personally, the like touch sensitive grip mechanic on the Knuckles has never worked for me. Like I
Hmm.
have always struggled against that. Like my hands get a little clammy during an intense sweaty session of population 1, and then I'm trying to climb a building and then like it just isn't sticking in the way that like a button press does. So I'm really, really excited to see this classic button press for grabbing like I've come to know and love. And the D-pad has me pretty stoked. I would love to see more like um kind of like I don't know, old school games, I guess, with like their VR ports like Send VR and stuff like that. Anything that requires you to use a D-pad to play it, to have one on a VR controller is like pretty amazing because that's been a big issue for me playing emulations or emulated games in VR because the thumbstick is not a D-pad. When I think about Tetris Effect, for example, like I don't play the Tetris Effect without a controller.
Hmm.
Like the thumbsticks to like move the pieces in Tetris are not even close to the same as a D-pad.
Hmm.
So to me, like that's maybe one of the first things that I would play with these if I got them is I would dive straight into the standalone version of Tetris Effect.
I would try Beat Saber on these ones because the previous controller is just so big and heavy, and I can imagine how nice these ones feel. So that's one of the
Beat
yeah.
Saber doesn't even need inputs.
I know, but it's just like it's the overall look of it and like how heavy or light the controllers are. Like these ones look very nice.
They look sleek. They look nice. I'm excited to see this design, and I mean, I know I'm not alone when I say that I have faith in Valve. Like,
Hmm.
Valve really showed up with the index, and what was it, like 2018 or 19? I don't even remember what year the index came out. If anybody in chat knows, you can drop it. But it's been out for a while. So to see that there's significant progress being made, to see that this thing's showing up in the Steam VR drivers, huge indication that we might be getting something in the next year or so, which would of course be really great.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed indeed. Okay, Katya, I think that's enough for news today.
Hmm.
This and more on the XR Update X account or on xrupdate.com. Please subscribe and follow, and just add XR Update to your life. Okay. All right, very good. So I think the time has come to transition into an interview here. We have the team from the amazing new mixed reality release of Squingle. And I think before we introduce them, we'll do what we always do and take a quick look at this.
Oh, hello there. Welcome to Squingle. Your goal is simple. Grab the orbs and guide them to the goal without touching the edges.
That is the new mixed reality trailer for Squingle. And joining us now on XR Update, Rodolfo from VRAL Games and Ben Outram from Squingle Studios. Hello, gentlemen. Thank you guys for joining us.
Hi, so good to be here.
Hello.
Katia.
Hello. So nice to see you again.
I know
Yeah.
these two just got to hang out in Miami like a couple of days ago. I'm like still reeling in jealousy right now.
We ate so much great food and it was summer and we had just the best time. And if anyone is Miami, you guys, Rodolfo is the perfect person to hang out.
Yeah. Anytime anyone wants to visit Varo Games HQ, we'll take you whatever your appetite desires. We'll take you to that type of restaurant.
Boom.
Okay, we all should just go.
Open invitation. Everybody show up in Miami and hang out with Viral Games. Guys, congratulations on the official release of Squingle on the Quest store. It's kind of interesting because like I alluded to earlier, the VR space is no stranger to Squingle. Squingle has been around for a minute, but we have, I guess, like a new release of the game. Do you guys want to kind of like to tell us what's happening?
Go for it, Ben.
Yeah, indeed. Well, Squingle is something that's been in development for a very long time, and originally was released on App Lab as a sort of pre-release game, and as someone that comes a long distance from the virtual reality and gaming industry at large. It was like I put it out there, and then sort of was very naive to how these things kind of work, and in terms of sort of marketing, business development, platform relations, those kind of things. So, I did my best to put it out there, and then over time, it's obviously evolved significantly. It's taken me a long time to, because I had zero connections in the gaming industry, but then to sort of slowly develop those things to get the attention and things. Turns out
I
it's not
mean,
enough to just create a great game, you have to do lots of other things as well
For
to
sure.
sort of get to the
For
point where
sure.
you're on the XR Update podcast.
That's right. Well, hey, you've been playing your cards right. So nicely done. Thanks for being here with us. I'd say you've made some strides in that side of things. I find that really interesting. You said that like you had zero experience being in the games industry, but you made a VR game. And I also found it interesting when I fired up Squingle, the new release of Squingle, that on the front, like one of the first things you say is a game from Dr. Benjamin Outram. So you are a doctor. So I'm guessing you were doing doctor things before you developed a VR game.
Yeah, indeed. I definitely didn't go to put that in the trailer myself, but they thought that was a really nice way to sort of present it. So, fair enough. Um, but yeah, like my background's in sort of physics and engineering, and I did a PhD in Oxford in liquid crystal display engineering science. So, kind of went down this very academic route before then jumping to Japan to learn Japanese for a year. And then while I was out there, that's when I came across virtual reality. I joined a media lab, KO Media Design, and did a postdoc there, which is like a 2-year research position after a PhD. And that postdoc focused on augmented and virtual reality, as well as motion tracking technology, haptics, eye tracking, even some EEG and brain interface type things. And they worked a lot on teleexistence or remotely operated immersive robotics and things like that. So I was in very close proximity to a lot of quite interesting ideas coming out from the crazy ideas of the lab in Japan. The Japanese, no idea is too crazy for them. And so it was a really important opportunity for me to just try out loads of new technologies, work with a lot of interesting and different people across slightly different areas of industry, media design, gaming as well to some extent. And that's where I first came across the virtual reality, but still in quite an academic context. So that's how I came into it, really, not from the industry.
Nice. I mean, but something happened. You kind of had this encounter with all these cool technologies. You have an encounter with virtual reality. You're doing all this awesome liquid crystal stuff, and then all of a sudden, like something must have clicked in your head, and you're like, "Oh man, like this is my new path. Like I have to make this thing." Like what happened? Because if you take a look at Squingle, like this game is like very visually exciting. Like like this is a very like I don't know, it's got like these cool, colorful, like trippy visuals, and there almost seems to be this like, I don't know, like profound kind of entity that's talking to you and this like profound message or theming to it. Like, so what happened after you had this encounter that led you down the path of creating this experience?
Yeah, I really like how you sort of put that. I would say that Squingle is like it's definitely something I'm very proud of. It's a synthesis of pretty much every influence and thing that I found interesting in my life, and there's definitely been a theme to that. From an early age, drawing mazes and challenging adults to try and solve the mazes that I drew as a 5, 6 year old, to then growing up a bit, encountering games like Res Infinite when I was 14, and also Dance Revolution and rhythm games, and being very attracted to a very visually appealing kind of aesthetic from an artistic perspective. To then going into my PhD, looking at liquid crystals, and down a microscope, liquid crystals look extremely mesmerizing and extremely beautiful. And the beauty is only expounded by when you understand the physics and the science behind them and how it relates to all of to everything, all of physics and all of biology and the evolution of things. It's extremely fascinating, not just as a technology for liquid crystal displays, but also just in and of their own right and down microscopes. And when you're in Squingle, it's almost like being inside the microscope,
Mm,
seeing the liquid crystals melting and moving and changing. And that aesthetic is something I've always been quite fascinated by. And then, going to Japan, more influences from the crazy ideas that you have there. I got very interested in sensory substitution, synesthesia, a little bit inspired by Res Infinite as a young person. Res Infinite was created by a legendary game maker called Tetsuya Mizuguchi, who some of you might recognize that name, responsible for really interesting games like Tetris Effects that you've mentioned, and Res Infinite, among others. And he was actually a honorary or assistant honorary professor at the KO Media Design, the media lab that I ended up in Japan. And I was able to end up working closely with some of his team on using their Res Infinite haptic bodysuit, which they created partly as a research project to explore haptics in virtual reality, but also as a sort of promotional piece to go with the launch of Res Infinite in virtual reality, which I also was able to play before it came out, and it was
nice.
very much a dream, childhood dream come true. So that, among other things, that's very much like a few of the influences. But as you
Nice.
say, there's this sort of the spiritual element as well, and I've tried to sort of engage people's spirit a little bit through the game as well, which is not something I talk about quite so much. But
Well,
yeah.
it's there. Yeah, I think you're doing that. Because I'm a guy who's been down the rabbit hole a few times, and like there's a lot of imagery and like theming there that really resonates. You know what I mean? So I'm curious how Viral Games got involved, right? Rodolfo, like how did this partnership come to be, and how have you guys been contributing to this launch of the new Squingle?
Sure. So I'll start. Yeah. So to add to what Ben said, I think his experiences living in India, from that transcendence, his experience living in Japan, which is really in many ways the godfather of gaming. Then obviously all his studies came up kind of this concoction of elements for Squingle to become a reality. And the way that we got involved is, we're building obviously a portfolio of games across genres. So, our first game was V Rider, which was like the world's first kind of licensed SBK motorcycles, super bike game, which is an amazing fun game. And then Massimo, who's our kind of third co-founder, he's kind of, I like to call him the game whisperer. So Massimo, he's been in this industry he was in this industry for a long time because him and Joe Victor are the third co-founder. They kind of had their own gaming stores back in Italy 20 years ago, and then GameStop came, bought them, and then they grew their 11 stores,
Oh
independent
wow,
stores, to almost 500 GameStop stores around Italy and Europe. So they really know this industry for a long time. And then at the end of last year, they brought me on because of my previous, startup and AI experiences to join XR VR, this industry, which is kind of almost at the tipping point, and then as part of this process, Massimo went on a massive global scouting adventure of what games were amazing that were not officially launched, that could have this incredible IP value. Like, we're not interested really in doing like this quick hit and run kind of games. When we go in, there's a lot of like due diligence thinking, does this title have a potential 10-year IP in being created? Could you create additional experiences and DLCs? And part of my background was actually in stock trading. I met Warren Buffett at one point. I still trade crypto and Nasdaq stocks. I'm a big nerd on that.
nice.
And so some of that previous discipline we brought in to Varo. And the idea is that you need a diversified portfolio. You can't just do racing. Some people do, but we don't subscribe to that thesis. So when Massimo found Squingle and Ben, it took a lot of negotiating and getting to know each other. And for us, is not only the pony, but it's the jockey, right? Sometimes you can have a pony that might not be ready, but if the jockey is incredible, wow, you can win many races. So the more we started meeting Ben, we could see his particular brilliance. And then what we really believed we could add to making Squingle an amazing game, taking it to the official store, building on top of it, and that's how this partnership happens. So a lot of it, it was the game whisperer, Massimo, and Ben coming together. And then once I met Ben and Joe, but I'm like, wow, this is amazing. So that's kind of, we came together from our side, and Massimo and Ben have been working really, and the rest of the team obviously, very closely together in adding elements to the game, gameplay, obviously all the branding and marketing. But I'll pass to Ben. Maybe he can give his developer perspective there.
Yeah, no, they came to me at a like very sort of quite late in the game, I have to admit, and I was a bit sort of dubious as to whether this was the right thing because I was about to launch on the store, and but they kind of convinced me over time, and the relationship has been one that's been extremely fruitful. I went in without any too much industry experience, as I said, and I think a lot of solo devs are very cautious and concerned, and have heard loads of horror stories about signing with a publisher that sharks around and things. But I think I was just extremely lucky with these guys because they've come in and they've provided such fantastic consultancy, and they're more bullish on Squingle than me even.
Nice.
I'm a big believer in my own game, otherwise I wouldn't have got this far. But they're Massimo's is such a big fan of the game, and he plays it not just to do the QA and bug testing and giving feedback, but also just in his free time, just for fun. And he's one of the only 3 people in the world that have completed the entire game at double speed and getting every single point in the game and that kind of thing.
Amazing.
So it's been an incredible journey. Yeah, I would say.
Oh, that's so great. And Katya, I know you've had a chance to work very intimately with both of these guys well, I know you and Ben haven't really worked intimately, but you've been working alongside of Rodolfo to help with Squingle. Like, is this your kind of game?
Oh, well, I wanted to actually mention at first that hearing the Dr. Ben story, it just shows that so many bright people, they join VR community and MR, and this is amazing to see how our community grows. And also his story also shows that pretty much anyone can get into VR if they put passion and work and so, I mean, it's never too late to get into VR. That's what I'm trying to say. On the other side, the Viral Games been such an amazing partner to work with, and we were working with VR Rider for a long time. And now, Ben, Dr. Ben, you're so lucky to actually work with these guys. Absolutely love the team, and yeah, I'm very excited that both of you met each other and that you proceed together. And Squingle is an amazing game. I tried it, of course, I played it. I really want to get on the leaderboard, climb it better because I want to do better, but it's such a relaxing game, and it's emotionally very pleasing. It's a very unique game. I have not tried other puzzle games that even similar to Squingle, because Squingle is not just a puzzle game, it's also relaxation and just great time. Look, I mean, you will have a great time in it.
Yeah, it really is. And I want to give Katya a shout out because I know that you worked pretty hard on the PR box efforts, like the marketing box efforts for this game. And I have with me that I kind of want to show it off. I have one of these jars that were included in like the influencer campaign. And if you've seen the video footage of the game, if you played the game, the squiggles themselves are these like almost this like jelly-like substance, and that's literally what I have a jar of here. This is like a jar of the substance that you move the orbs through, and there are orbs in this jelly-like substance that I actually would have to dig through to retrieve. There's like a game key on a USB stick in here and some other stuff that like you have to like dive into the Squingle like you are in the game to get. This is really cool. And I think you guys did a great job with this. So shout out Katya.
Thank you. Yeah, we went for the experience, not as just objects put there and you open it and like, okay, those are all emerged from the game. But we wanted to recreate this puzzle experience that is similar to Squingle. And you need to get messy to get your result. And are you able to do it? Well, we will see how many people will open the box.
The box is amazing. Actually, we got ours is back there. It arrived this morning, which is really cool. That's in the office here. V Writer is right there. Squingo is right there. My goal is by the beginning of next year, we're gonna have a few more there. But the work that Katya and Impact Realities has done is they've been our partner with V Writer, and then obviously Squingo is amazing. This PR box, it was really Katya's creation, and then the rest of the team executed beautifully. But it's fun, I think the way I would like to almost see Squingo is there's two experiences as you play the game. You have kind of this optionality between a mixed reality immersive experience where you play the game. And for me, again, I'm not from this industry, right? Well, 1 year now, 1 year in the industry. So I sometimes look at it with a different lens. And I like that lens in some ways, which is kind of a newbie lens, even when I'm playing these games. So I used to be a gamer, but that was back when I was a kid in Brazil and then college playing Doom. But those are stories for another time. So Squingo, the mixed reality option mode is incredible because you have these puzzles and you have this thing, which I keep saying it because it really blows my mind, this object permanence. So you have these puzzles, mazes, which we call them Squingo, that stay kind of, permanent in your environment. You can move the Squingles in any type of way. You can kind of zoom in and you're immersed within these mazes. You have this option when you can play sitting down and the puzzles are maybe this big, or you can play almost a big chunk of your room and you're actually walking around this object. It's really, it blows your mind. So I think Squingo in that mixed reality mode is one of these you must have kind of game, especially if you were not into VR. So let's say you just bought your Quest headset, and maybe some games are too hard, shooting games are maybe too complex, racing games, and you're like, okay, I just want to get my footing into this new medium. I really do think that Squingo is probably one of the top 5 must-have games if you're just getting into VR or XR.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would
I
actually
agree.
agree with that.
Also the tracking.
It's easy to learn, it's engaging, it's relaxing, there's no motion potential, like motion sickness really. It's fun, it's for everybody. It can be for younger kids, for men that like shooting games, for girls that like shooting games, for it's a game for everybody to get in. And that's the mixed reality mode. And then you have the virtual reality mode, which is obviously totally immersive. It's more trippy, almost psychedelic, which could be for a different type of player too that want to maybe go into different realms specifically. So I think the game is really, it's a game for all. It's fun, it's entertaining. And I think for me, coming as a newbie, I put on the headsets. It was really easy. We launched the Squingo Mini, which is like 99 cents. You have 10 levels plus a bonus level. It has this voice tutorial with a very warm voice. We hired real actress to do the voice. It's kind of like an in-game tutorial, which is amazing. And then you have the full game, which is it's called Squingo. It's Squingo. One is Squingo Mini. The other is Squingo, which is like $19.99. And that one has 100 levels and he has leaderboards and all these different things. So I think that optionality makes Squingo like really, really unique,
Absolutely. And I mean, I think it's important to mention that Squingle was originally just a virtual reality game. This is kind of before we really had the modern approach to mixed reality that we do now have. And now when you fire up Squingle for the first time, for all intents and purposes, this is a mixed reality game. Like it like throws you into mixed reality right away. Bam, I like didn't see any like quick options to go into VR. I know that there are options to go full VR, but like it seems to me like the intended experience is to stay in mixed reality now. And it's almost as if the game was literally made for mixed reality. Like the style of the gameplay, like bringing the Squingle into your space like that is it's beautiful. It's stunning. And I was really taken aback by the quality of the
Mm-hmm.
experience. Like it is, there is no jank here. Like it is like when the ball, the orb that you're moving through the Squingle gets close to the edges, it like expands and contracts, and the animations are super fluid and really, really clean and nice. In mixed reality, this is easily the most like visually impressive game that I have played. It's gorgeous.
Also, hands tracking. You don't need to have a controller in your hand. You don't have to learn all the buttons on the controllers. Going back into intuitive menu and the gameplay itself, you just need one hand, and that's it. You could be sitting, you could be in a very small area, you could be in the airplane, like anywhere. That's amazing. I have a question. So you guys now, when we are going to search for Squingle on Metastore, we will see three versions of Squingle: Squingle Legacy, Squingle, and Squingle Mini. Well, Squingle Mini, the Squingle 10 levels of the Squingle, the game by itself, but there are two. There is a little bit confusion going on right now. If you could please explain our community for the Squingle Legacy how they can get the full the Squingle game that you just launched.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, first of all, it should be that you can't find Squingle Legacy if you've not downloaded it before. But people that have Squingle Legacy refers to the App Lab version that came out before its the full release on the Meta Store. And the reason we had to do that was because of some limitations on the Meta platform when we transitioned to the full launch. We couldn't keep the same app ID, so we had to start a new one, which was pretty painful because of the communication aspect to it, and but also because we had like a perfect 5-star review rating with like 86 ratings and many really beautiful reviews, which really hurts me so much to
Yeah.
lose those. Um, but yeah, the good news is that any people that own the Squingle App Lab version, Squingle Legacy, they can get a free copy of the new version. We didn't do it in order to try and make people charge twice. That's not what our game was. So, but yeah, anyone can join the Discord that has the Squingle Legacy, and they can. There's a special channel there. It's called Squingle Legacy. You can put a note in there. Will tell you how to fill out the form to get a free copy of the full new game, and it's definitely worth doing because we've put like another whole year or more of like sleepless nights of development into the new version. So very definitely like upgrade. It's definitely worth it. The old version I find kind of embarrassing now. I don't want people to be playing that.
So for all Squingle players, please go to the Discord, please get the new version and enjoy, because developers do think about you. This is really important for you to know. And yes, if you have any questions, please let us know, or please let Discord know, and you will get your Squingle.
Yeah, that's beautiful. All right, guys, I think it's about time to start wrapping this up, but I just want to quickly touch base just one more time with each of you. Rodolfo, anything that we didn't mention about this project that you wanted to touch on before we wrap it up?
Yeah, one thing. So, I like to, and we like to think of like future proofing IP. So when we looked at Squingle, this is the type of game that we would love to see on Orion. Should be kind of one of these smart glasses
Yeah, totally.
embedded game, which is like amazing. So if you look at Squingle and you look at it maybe 3 years from now, Apple Vision Pro should have it. Orion should have it. I just saw Samsung some patents leaked on what they're trying to do. So I really do think as smart glasses comes in, Squingle, obviously we always need the love of the players and and enjoying the game. So that's going to be really fun. We obviously want all feedback and all insight and what people are excited about, what they want us to build. We have an awesome roadmap into the future with some amazing of that band, magic dust of creation into the future of Squingle. So that would be really, really fun. So that's all I wanted to add, and happy for everybody to play the game, give us feedback. And yeah, it's really interesting how far even this industry has grown in the last year since I joined it. It's insane. Like
It's amazing.
it's really amazing. It's like you can feel because I obviously I've spoken with you guys, and Eric
Yeah.
and others, and everybody's like, yeah, it's a different pulse right now because the hardware is finally catching up to the dream, and then obviously content follows. So that's all I have
And the
to add.
technology, right?
Mhm.
Like the Quest 3 has enabled mixed reality in a way that no previous headset ever has. Like that full
It's
color pass through, the quality of the lenses, like it's gorgeous, like,
It's
but that
crazy.
headset has to exist in order to have these types of experiences.
it's
Yeah.
correct. No hardware, the industry can never evolve. So
Yep.
it's exciting times. Yeah.
Yep. Ben, anything else before we part ways?
Well, I just want to encourage everyone to try and play Squingle, and I promise if you're listening, that you'll have a good time playing
You
Squingle. And if
literally
you don't,
will.
you can write to me. You can write to me personally and complain. But also you don't even have to buy the full game to enjoy Squiggle. You can just pay a $1, one perfunctory dollar, and play the Squiggle Mini, which we put a ton of effort into as well, and it gives
Yes.
you a really good. And we're confident that if you play that, you'll be convinced and want to
Listen,
play
y'all, this is
the
one of
full
those
game. Yeah,
this is one of those
it's
one
a big
more
rabbit hole
game
to dive down.
This is one of those one more game kind of gameplay loops. Like you finish a
Yep.
level and you can't get into the next level fast enough. Like you just want to go, 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 go. So if you have heard this interview, you are required to go spend $1 on Squingle Mini. It's a dollar. Okay. Go buy the dollar version, take it for a spin. If it's not your cup of tea, congratulations, you contributed to an amazing developer. Like it's kind of a no-brainer. So $1 Squingle, and if you love it, of course, there's actually a discount for the full version if you bought mini.
Hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
And also
We're
when you
immensely proud and immensely grateful to all the players that have played so far and left their comments and their reviews. So keep that coming, keep the feedback coming, because we are working on a lot more content and things like that. And what they say is going to directly influence the direction we go. So
and we will make sure you guys are all heard. So please let us know how Squingle team did. And on another note, Squingle, it feels better than you actually can imagine.
It
It's
really
from
does.
the video you cannot even understand because the visually and physically, it's emotionally and all. It feels so good. It's so good. I was actually very impressed because I imagined this Squingle will be very nice, polished game, and then I started playing it, and wow, it blew my mind.
Oh, there you have it, people. Thanks again, Rodolfo from Viral Games, Ben from Squingle Studios. Really appreciate you guys coming on today. Congratulations on the launch. We're stoked to be in your corner for this, and you know how to get a hold of us. All right, don't be strangers. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so much. Bye, Katya,
Thank you
Alex.
for joining.
All
Bye
right,
bye,
let's
guys.
all say goodbye to the Squingle dudes. Bye, guys.
Yay.
All right, let's quickly go here. Okay, and we're back.
We're back. We're back. Oh, what a nice interview. I love those guys. They're so nice and pleasant to play with and play video game with and just interview. Amazing.
Yeah, lots of fun. I said earlier, or just a minute ago, I was taken aback by the quality of Squingle. Like it
Mhm.
really is gorgeous, and in
It
mixed
is.
reality, it just works. So yeah, one more time, I'm leaning into y'all. Go spend $1 on Squingle. I don't think you're gonna regret it.
I agree.
Cool. Well, thank you all for watching the XR Update podcast. Once again, really appreciate you. Shout out YouTube, shout out Twitter, shout out LinkedIn, and shout out Facebook. You can find XR Update on all of those platforms. You can visit xrupdate.com for the latest in the XR world written by our incredible team. Or, of course, you can follow us on any of the aforementioned platforms. Like and subscribe. Become a part of the XR Update community.
Also, Squingle still have their Glim giveaway going on. So you guys, if you go on Squingle Twitter, I think there's like 7 more hours left or something. So it's your chance. I just almost forgot to mention this.
There it
So,
is.
mhm.
So if you caught this live, you still have time to go to Twitter and enter the Squingle giveaway. What's
Yep.
the giveaway?
Of course, yes, of course.
Quest
and
3S.
and the PR box and some merchandise.
Oh, you're giving away a PR box.
We are.
So if you want to win one of those buckets of jelly that Katia sent me, you can win one.
Shiny. Made with those hands.
All right, everybody. Well, that's going to do it for today's episode. Thanks again for being here. Like and subscribe, whatever. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks with another amazing interview from another amazing developer.
Yep.
For Katia, I'm
Thank
Alex.
you so
Thank
much.
you so much.
We'll
Yep.
see
We
you
will
next
see you
time.
guys next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.